Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Tuesday the 6th of January.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Swipe and Go, a look into a convenient card payment method for public transportation.
Do they need a hand to ball? We look at what lies ahead for handball in Rwanda.
And we take a look into the local music industry with a visit to one of Rwanda's biggest music labels and a chat with a local star.
Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you all the latest news, sports, and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here with us in studio. What is happening in the world of what he likes to call the money?
Well, in the money, I mean, from new markets that are about to be built in Kayonza. That's very good news, especially for the traders who are in Kayonza.
Right.
And also, you know, some more great news for Rwanda. Let me just give it a secret. Actually, if I tell you right now, I feel like I'll be blind.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Alan? What do you have?
Well, Makeda, it's today in lifestyle. It's all about music, and of course, the hot topics as always.
Of course, looking snappy with your little pocket square. I love it. And how about you? What about the world of sports, the best, as you say?
Save the best for last,
Oh.
as usual. We have the latest from the big one, South Africa vs West Indies, and something about handball and what it holds for the future of the sport in the country.
Okay, looking forward to seeing all of that. All that and more is still to come. But first, Rise and Shine, story of the day.
Public transportation can have its ups and downs, from the exhausting long lines to the congestion in buses. Could a new smart card be the solution to transportation woes? Fidelis went to find out.
Claude is among the many here at the Emeraba station waiting to use public transportation. For him, this daily routine has gotten a lot easier following his purchase of the 20 smart card started by Airclock, a local company that has come up with a way to pay for your transport bill electronically.
Ibyo byampinduriye ubuzima nuko ubu mfite uburyo ngomba nshobora kujera amafaranga ya transport. Ikindi cya kabiri kuba amafaranga yanyeshyira kuri smart card biranyorera kuko ubusingitonda umurongo. Kuko umuntu ufite smart card ntago yemerewe gutondera mirongo abandi batonda. Ni priority. Bivuga ngo mu byo byamfashije n'uwo murongo nawo kuba ntagitonda umurongo nabyo byaramfashije cyane.
For the buses that accept this smart card, business seems to be a lot easier to conduct.
Urebye by'umwihariko aya makarita batubwira ko yaje ari ingenzi kuri bo kubera ko mu ngendo bakora za buri munsi usanga bakoresha amafaranga menshi, ariko kubera zino karita zaje aratubwira ko bibafitiye akamaro, igiciro cyaragabanyutse kandi bitewe n'amakarita imikorere ya company iragenda neza nta kibazo.
So, what is Airclock and what do they do?
Airclock is a card issuer. So we sat down and thought of how we could contribute to our country, particularly in the cashless department. And we thought of having a smart card for KBS. It had existed before, but we decided to revamp it and bring it back this time for it to be sustainable and go on and basically give clients a better experience of their public transport, but also be able to make business sense and be able to contribute and benefit to our country, us as a company, and the bus operators.
Although this system has been doing well so far, one cannot ignore that most Rwandans still prefer having cash on them as opposed to using cards, which could hinder the growth of this business, a challenge that Airclock is still trying to overcome.
The main challenges for me and for many other entrepreneurs is basically our limiting ourselves in our mind. There's a lot we can do, particularly with partnerships, The government is very supportive when you see, basically, when you're starting something. Usually when you talk to them, they get very close to you and help you. So most of the bottlenecks are in our mind. And the moment you break that, then it's very easy for you to go on. And for Air Club particularly, is some people have not really understood the importance of the card. But when they get to know, and when you talk to them and let them know the benefits of this, and then they like it. I think it's just a matter of educating people, and they'll get to know. But about the entrepreneurs, it's more of the mindset.
Despite this challenge, however, one cannot ignore that this is a great sign for Rwanda as it tries to have a cashless economy. Karangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
And joining us in studio is Patrick Buchana, CEO of Air Clerc. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you.
Now, I come from the era of convoyer, what we used to call convoyer here. I don't know if it still exists, but you got on a bus, you paid a fee. If you didn't pay, they ran after you until you paid it. And when you came up with this idea of 20 smart card, do you feel Rwanda is ready for it? Do you feel Rwandans are ready for it?
Well, we didn't really come up with the idea. It's been there in different countries. We just basically picked what we saw was best for our country, and I think we really need it. Because when you have that smart card, it's very convenient for you, the bus operator, and the country. Looking at it from the perspective of a cashless economy, which is part of the goals for achieving our 2020 goals. So what happens is when you have this smart card, it's much quicker for you, so it reduces queues on the line. And then the low-hanging fruit for the client is that it's much cheaper than paying with cash. So if you're moving, the normal standard journey is about 200 Rwandan francs. With the card, it's 150. There's a monthly pass, there's a weekly pass, so you can pay up front and then get moving. And the very convenient part about it for the bus operator is that it's prepaid. So when it's prepaid, the bus operator gets his cash up front. And when he has his cash up front, the bus keeps moving. He doesn't have to wait to fill up. So it benefits everyone, and definitely Air Club, which is in for the money as well.
Okay.
But the most important thing for us is the client experience. So when the client experience is good, then we make more money.
Right.
So that makes more sense for us. Yeah.
Right. So before I move on to the next question, quickly, because you just mentioned this, how is it that people, do you get like an unlimited thing, or because you're saying that it's prepaid? So how do you pay for it before, unless you know how many rides you're going to be taking?
Well, you can pay for 150. You buy 10 rides at the same time.
Okay.
You can pay for a full day, and you can travel unlimited number of times.
Ah, okay.
You can also sleep in the bus if you want.
Okay. Okay.
You can pay for a
so
week.
it's like it's like these little train
Right.
cards, like little metro cards and
Yeah,
stuff
sure.
like that. Okay, I see what you mean. So tell me, why did you decide to invest or start a business in the transportation sector or industry? Why did you, you could have done anything. Everywhere needs ICT solutions, I guess you could say.
Right.
Why would you decide to go into the transportation industry?
Well, by the time we got together and started, it wasn't that we were going to get into transport. We started with e-health, we thought about many other things, but transport, landed at the perfect time. We were needed, and I think God wanted us to be there, so, we got into it, dived in and started working. So
Simple and straight to the point. I love that.
I like it. Now, you were saying how you guys got inspired by what you saw elsewhere about smart cards, being more efficient, quicker for everybody else, and limiting queues. Now, this is a product that you brought to us. You're trailblazing here. What other products are Air Clerc trying to bring to the market?
Well, what we're trying to do is, it's one card that's currently being used for transport, but many other services are going to be added to it. So we want to give, as I said, for us, the client is king. So once the client has a good experience, once again, I'll keep emphasizing that because that's our main goal. And so we want to get into convenience stores, into many other channels of, payment through the same card. But I would like to get into it when we're right there. So I won't talk much about it because action always speaks much louder than words.
You got like catchphrases and like
I love the confidence. I love it.
I like it.
So tell me, you collaborate with the government quite a bit. Tell us about that collaboration.
Well, the collaboration is definitely, the government is all for a cashless economy, for convenient means of payment. and I think our card is one of them. So apart from this, we want to have a real smart transport system. So we're going to work a lot with the government on that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And
staying very tight-lipped on that collaboration.
Pretty good. It's not every day you come across this. Now, my thing is, first of all, where did you guys see this work? Like, did you go there physically, or have you been seeing it on the internet and on television?
Well, we've been to countries. Many of us have been to countries where it's worked. Some of us have used it.
And you've seen how efficient it was.
Exactly, yeah. And we thought, we can see that and duplicate it back home, because we don't want to just keep seeing it and admiring. We have to do it here as well. So it's not just this, but Air Clark is going to, collaborate with many other countries to bring solutions back home, because our goal is partly also develop our country.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah. So speaking of development, do you have any advice for any young people who want to, get into business at all, even if it's not ICT, just anyone who's looking at you and saying, yeah, this is a successful entrepreneur, how can I get where he's at?
Well, the first thing is not everyone is supposed to be an entrepreneur. That's something people have to understand. If you feel like you want to do it, then please go for it. But it needs a lot of commitment, it needs a lot of time. It's very hectic, it's not as fancy as it looks. The money comes, but first you create value. So you have to stop looking at, I want to make money, but think about it in a way that I want to create value for my country, I want to develop something, I want to see this change. And when you have that urge and you have that commitment and you can wake up every morning to do that, then definitely the money comes.
It's all about the passion. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's not every day you come across this. It's pretty cool. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's get to today's business headlines. Fidelis Karangwa has the details.
Business stories making headlines today. Rwanda's tea industry is set to take over this year following the decision to increase tea quality to at least 7 out of the possible 11 aggregates. This comes after the sector saw a decline in production in the last 2 years, said to be caused by droughts and other factors. Officials say that the increase would make the tea sector sustainable and competitive while enhancing its contribution in the national economy. Traders operating in Kayonza market have called on authorities to upgrade the facilities in which they work into a modern market. Vendors say that despite them paying their monthly dues on time, the district administration has failed to construct a new modern market. Officials say that the plans were underway to improve the working conditions, as it's been a long-standing issue. And Rwandan businesses are set up for a major boost following Rwanda's online ID offer to free websites. The company's Go Connect service pack is designed to help small and medium enterprises to become more professional by building their brand, breaking geographic limits, and expanding their markets. This is expected to help increase Rwanda's online presence and attract more investors. You're up to date with today's business headlines, sports news coming up next in just a minute with Arnold Quizera.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news with me, Arnold Quizera. The Football Federation, FERAFA, has started a campaign to clear all the dates that the football governing body has acquired in the past. The biggest chunk of the money is owed to Rwanda Revenue Authority in taxes, and the rest is to hotels that have hosted visiting teams and individuals who have provided services to FERAFA. According to Zamwita, FERAFA has so far cleared 155 million francs and have to clear the remaining balance to a tune of 135 million francs by the time they leave office at the end of their 4-year term. Frank Lampard will join New York City in July after the club feared that the midfielder would extend his current Manchester City deal past this season. Frank Lampard is set to leave Manchester City at the end of the season and finally join his new club, New York City, in July. Despite Lampard's excellent form for Manuel Pellegrini's side, the midfielder has made it clear he wants to take up the challenge of playing in the Major League Soccer when his loan spell ends in England. There had been fears at New York City and within Major League Soccer that Lampard, 36 years old, would be tempted to remain at the Etihad beyond the end of the season. South Africa's cricket team, the Proteas, made an early strike after tea in their test match against West Indies at Newlands Stadium. South Africa made an early breakthrough with a wicket of West Indian Leon Johnson when play got underway on a rain-delayed fourth day of the final test at Newlands on Monday. Johnson was caught behind for 44, flying at a steep ball off his stump from Mone Mokel as the West Indies moved on to 95 for 3 in their second innings, just 3 runs ahead of their host. The West Indies 88 for 2 overnight scored 329 in their first innings, to which South Africa replied with 421, including a flamboyant 148 runs from captain A.B. de Villiers. And finally, 2014 was a year of mixed fortune for the National Handball Federation, as it saw a decline in standards of the game, but an increase in participation at the regional level. After marking 30 years in 2013, the handball fraternity hoped for an elusive 2014, but most of the steps were taken in the wrong direction, as the national handball team and representative clubs failed to register success in the region. 2013 champions Gichumbi were subjected to a third-place finish as police claimed the regional title and APR handball team claimed the East Africa Armed Forces Games title. But the display of the Army side in the Army Games could not be replicated in the club games, as they finished at dismissal 6th out of 8 clubs for their worst performance at the regional tournament. Police dethroned Gichumbi as national champions, winning 4 titles in what was a successful 2014 campaign. With 2015's first tournament around the corner, tense and early preparations by all clubs are expected to propel the game of handball back to its previous heights. Arnold, Kwizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
All right, Arnold. So 2 things I want to know quickly. Number 1, handball last year in Rwanda, we didn't quite do what we wanted to do, but we participated more in regional competition. Is that true?
Yeah, that's very true. We had over 400 sides, that's both 2 ladies teams and 2 men's teams, APR and Gichumbi being the defending champions coming into the season, had to represent at what you would call the Central and East African Handball Tournament.
I have a feeling you're not mentioning police here. Is there a reason?
Police came and dominated the local scene last year. Right. That came from the fact that they performed poorly in 2013 and couldn't qualify for the continental feats. Police had the MVP of the year again, Ali Akimanzi. He had a very strong performance. We can see him in this game. The central defender there, Jazet 12, currently on your screens there, Ali. He had a very strong showing to the extent that he had to be taken for the APR, got him on loan for the East Africa Games Army Championships, which APR won. But then APR, when they came again to the where the club competitions, they finished a dismissal 6th out of 8 teams. Not a strong performance from them. The national team didn't play any tournaments last year, again, which was steps backwards for a federation that had just celebrated 30 years in existence.
Now, before we move on to international football quickly, Ferafa is clearing their debts. Can we say this is a new beginning?
Yeah, I think I think they're trying. It's also very political in a way, being that they're coming up, the elections are supposed to take place this year. Their 4-year term is supposed to be ending.
They have to be clean.
Yeah, so they have to be very clean if Zamuita wants to get another term. Remember him, he was also head at APR a few years before he moved on to Ferafa. I think Ferafa needs to get themselves organized. They have tried to bring in some new faces in the team, the likes of Boni Mugabe. There was no reason in 2014 why AFCON, Rwanda was disqualified from AFCON, from this year's AFCON tournament, which is going to take place. But then again, you look at the positives they have drawn. Rwanda has gone to its highest ranking under this management, going to number 66, in FIFA rankings, which is 22 places in a space of just a month, which is a very good showing. Of course, it's going to go down because we've not participated in AFCON, as many teams are going to get a lot of points from the AFCON championships.
So it's becoming a trend now. We talked about Steven Gerrard yesterday. We're talking Frank Lampard today, a Chelsea legend that's moving on to the MLS, to the Major League Soccer. Is going to play for New York City next year. He currently plays for Manchester City, so we kind of knew this was going to happen. It was a semi-deal. What are your memories of Frank Lampard as part of Chelsea?
I think Frank Lampard was part of the golden generation of England football, you know, that we last saw at the 2006 World Cup. You know, the David Beckham, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard midfield. We had Owen Hargreaves, who was once at Manchester United and Manchester City also there. Frank Lampard, a great servant to the game, in and out, what you would call the box type of midfielder. A FIFA World Player of the Year runner-up, you know, to a generation where I played with the likes of Ronaldinho. I think it was very unfortunate in the manner in which Chelsea let him go. But then Man City again played according to the FIFA financial rules. They bought him. Their sister club, a new club in New York City. New York City bought him, and then they loaned him back to Manchester City to beat the financial fair play rules. It's a similar thing they did with David Villa, sending him to another club in Australia, and yet he was playing for New York City. But I think Frank Lampard is going to go down as one of the greatest. He's the highest scoring midfield player in the Premier League. And
between him and Steven Gerrard, quickly, who do you think takes the honors?
Steven Gerrard is top notch.
Remains the man.
He is the man of passion. He will never play for another English club.
Unlike always a pleasure discussing sports with you.
Always a pleasure with you.
All right, you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Makeda and I will be right back.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The Rwanda Social Security Board has announced the separation of healthcare provisions and contributions to help improve operations of Mutuelle de Santé. Officials say the Security Board will coordinate the collection of contributions, while the Ministry of Health will be in charge of running the healthcare provision for insurance holders. Mutuelle de Santé is a community-based health insurance system covering most Rwandans. Since 2012, subscriptions of the scheme have decreased, causing delays to pay health centers and hospitals. Parliament is expected to pass the new law governing health insurance later this month.
Authorities have reported that at least 18 people were killed after a boat sank in Nyabarongo River. A dozen people were reported missing, including 4 children of the ship's owner. Police said that there were about 30 passengers on board and the ship was overloaded. Initial investigation showed that the vessel may have been broken and sunk after hitting a tree.
Failure to perform is said to be the reason behind the resignation of district officials. In the recent months, 4 district mayors and their deputies resigned citing personal reasons. The mayor of Gatsibo, Ambroise Rwanda, is the latest to resign. Officials say that this was caused by failure to deliver on set targets under the performance contracts, commonly known as Imihigo. The mayors are said to have been from the eastern province districts of Kirehe, Gatsibo, and Rwamagana.
Authorities have called on the public to be cautious of suspicious objects such as explosives and to report them if found. This comes after grenades were recovered in Gasabo and Nyagatare districts, where they were secured in time before they could cause any damage. Authorities have warned the public against the illegal ownership of explosives and guns, which is a criminal offense that attracts heavy punishments.
And in international news, Islamist militant group Boko Haram has seized a military base in Nigeria's northeastern town of Baga. Residents who fled by boat to neighboring Chad said many people had been killed and the town set ablaze. The town is a host of the multinational Joint Task Force made up of troops from Nigeria, Chad, and Niger. The militant group has launched attacks in towns and villages, abducting people, including young boys and girls. Baga was the last town in the Borno North area under government control.
Time now for a review of the headlines. Michael Kiche joins us right now to look through some of the front pages.
Yes, this time. I mean, you know, it's it's been a tough one for Regis.
Come every day and I'll have it down, you know, by the end of the week at least. It's just a pronunciation. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're getting there.
All right, so Ambroise Ruboneza of Gatsibo is the last mayor to basically resign. We've had 3, 4, 5, there's a bunch of them lately. What has been going on?
Yes, we've seen actually 4 mayors resign within the last 3 months.
Great.
And now I think the trend is a little bit worrying, you know. And this is, okay, my attention was a little bit drawn about Rwamagana district because I've gone through the media reports that I've seen, and statistics were given about Rwamagana districts, whereas starting between, that is between 2009 and this year. Now, going by what we're seeing in 2009, 53% is what they scored, position 24. In 2010, 80%, position 24. In 2011, they go to 83%. Well, their position was not given. But then in 2012, we're seeing 94% they're at position 25. Then in 2013/2014, they go to 71% at position 29. Now, during the previous one of 2012/2013, even the president himself, you know, questioned the methodology used in terms of ranking and trying to do all this. Right. Now, here's my problem. Yes, people want accountability and performance. Correct, not bad. People lodged formal right complaints, particularly with reference to Gatsabo district. That's okay, but where does the threshold lie? I mean, Makeda, you go to school, you score 94%, but you become number 30 out of 30. Are you a failure? That's the question. So the point is, what are the key performance indicators? What methodology actually does it go into account when coming up with these particular evaluations so that we do not have a floodgate of resignations from other districts out of the remaining 26?
Right. Let's move on quickly before we run out of time to the second headline.
Yes.
Belgian ministers are in town, or they're coming to town today and to the 8th after pulling development aid. What's your stance?
Well, it remains to be seen whether the issue of the aid is going to be part of the talks. Of course, we are seeing them. There are 2 ministers of foreign affairs and of development cooperation, and from Belgium, and they're visiting both, I think, Rwanda and Burundi. They'll be meeting the heads of states, some government officials, civil societies. But it remains to be seen whether they are here on the mission of the so-called areas that they said Rwanda had actually failed. That is good governance, freedom of the press, and human rights. So let's watch the space and see.
We're going to have to watch that space.
We're going to have to
Okay.
watch it now. The closing of the ICTR, a lot
Yes.
of people I've been talking to lately are saying this should have happened a couple of years ago already. What's your take on it?
Well, the ICTR has been there for a long time, since 1995. And we're aware they did indict 93 people, and out of which, okay, quite a number were, 61 were sentenced. Now, as it's coming to a closure, we're seeing extension of term of the appeals chamber judges.
Right.
They have given extension of term, which is more of a technical move because the prosecution and the rest are closing down officially. Now, it's because they're there to oversee some of the 10 cases that were referred to the national jurisdiction, okay? So we still, I don't know whether Rwandans feel that the ICTR did do justice for the genocide survivors, looking at the time frame and the amount of money that was invested.
Especially when you think about the fact that Gachacha, Abunzi, they've been
Yes.
doing a far better job. I mean,
Yes,
the numbers
exactly.
are eloquent here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. I agree with you, Regis, on that. So it remains, again, to be seen whether as we remain with these, the appeals chamber judges, what's the effect, what's the end term effect. And then remember, we still have about 9 fugitives on the run, the likes of Felician Kabuga, who is purported to be in Kenya. And we wait, let's just wait and see whether the justice system and justice actually is going to take its course.
I've always had a question. This is a little bit before we move on because we don't have that much time. I was thinking about, when you think about someone like Agatha Habyarimana, who's still freely moving, and the ICTR hasn't been able to get a hold of her, how important is this institution? I mean, if it cannot get a country or, I don't know, the UN, the AU, and other institutions to be able to hold people accountable and seize them, what is it there for?
Practically, that's the same problem we're seeing even with ICC, because people feel these are politically motivated institutions, right? So the people are you'll find divided opinions about this. And when people feel these things are politically motivated, with just people, running around, and these are people who should be brought to justice, then indeed it begs the question whether indeed these particular systems are serving the justice that they are meant to serve to the citizens of this nation.
Right. Michael Kiche from
Thanks
Contact FM there. We always love having you here.
Thanks
You
a
were
lot,
here
guys.
yesterday.
Yes.
It was so nice we had to do it twice.
Yes.
Thanks again.
We appreciate it.
And lots more is still to come. We take a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate session, Hot Topics. We will be right back.
Welcome back, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Lifestyle now. Alan, what do you have for us?
Well, it's all about music and the local music scene here in Kigali.
All right.
Perfect. We see it every day. There's so much growth across the board here in Rwanda as we barrel towards the government's 2020 goals. But what about the music industry? No doubt we have boundless talent and rich musical culture, but are the young up-and-coming artists of today benefiting as much as they could? Follow me as we get the perspective of some of the industry's top players. Check it out.
Rwanda is going to be among the best music industries in East Africa and also in Africa, probably.
If you live in Rwanda and listen to the radio at all, you're very familiar with one, if not all, of these songs. One thing they all have in common is super producer Clement of Kina Music, the man behind the stars. With some of the biggest pop stars in Rwanda signed to his label, I had to find out what the secret of his success has been so far. In an industry where so many say they cannot make a living, how does he manage to thrive?
I would say our industry is a bit tough and it's young. For us, we are still new at this. We are starting, but still we can make it because we, like most of our artists, they don't do anything else apart from singing. it's just commitment and know that what I'm doing is my profession. I'm not doing it as a hobby or something. It's just something I feel like I'll do for many years to come. So most of them are really dedicated and also they are mature enough because most of them went to schools, universities. That we have even a doctor. So they really know what they are doing.
So I had to meet with one of his artists to see what his perspective was on the industry as an artist. Luckily, Tom Close just happened to be around.
One of the guys who started this, before we used to hear oldies, the ones they call karahanyuzi, for old people. But me and my other few friends, like in the year 2006, 2005, that's when we started from nothing. We couldn't even believe that anyone could sing in Kinyarwanda and produce a nice song. So from there, that's where we started. It was very hard. So the success we are getting, I think, is because we are among the few guys who started this.
I couldn't leave without getting a bit of advice for any budding music producers and artists out there.
If you want to reach to something good, you have to to sweat. You can't get anything for just for granted. You don't take it as something easy. You fight for it. You do what it takes for you to get there. As I was saying, most of our artists, we have engineers, doctors, but they still, because they knew that music is their passion and they want to do it as professions, they chose to dedicate themselves to music. So it's just dedication and determination.
I can only hope to see more labels and musicians following Kina Music's lead to putting Rwandan pop music on the map. Makeda Mahadio, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
And DJ Pius of the musical duo Two For Real joins us now. DJ Pius, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I want to know a little bit about, now you're a DJ, so
yes.
He talked about how, musicians, fully dedicate their careers to their craft. Now, is it really sustainable? Are you able to actually, live off, I guess, being a DJ?
And a musician, an artist.
And a musician, an artist, sorry.
Yeah, I'm a musician and at the same time a DJ. I would say it depends on how you carry yourself, but it's not very hard and it's not very easy at the same time. Depending on how you carry yourself, the money you make, how you spend your money. The gigs are starting to come right now. We make money off DJing and sometimes off the music, but I would say it's very hard for the guys who are doing music only, because it's the competition is still like stiff and the people competing are few. We have those names that are known, so they tend to conquer the market, and the guys who are really trying to come up have to struggle at the moment.
So you had a huge hit a couple, not last year, I think it was the one before.
Yes.
And I mean, like, you could not go anywhere without hearing this song. Is that what you need in order to make it in the music industry? Do you need to have that one mega hit to put you on, or are you able to?
The first crucial thing is management. You don't have to have a very big hit. If you have many good songs, they don't have to be exactly hits, but if you have many and you have good management, we've seen people like Christopher. They don't have exactly big huge hits, but they have many consistent songs which are really good and attractive to the population. And because they have maybe proper management or something which is like close to proper management, they tend to shine and become successful. But I would say that the most important thing is to make good music. Is to have your target, know who you're singing to, the message you want to carry to the people, and there you'll be successful.
No, I wanted to ask, you always hear like in America how, going into a studio is quite expensive.
Yes.
Is that a case for you guys as well? And do you guys pay for your own studio time?
Unless if you're in a label. So, for example, if you're in Super Level, Kingdom Music or whatever, if you're not in the labels, then you have to pay for your studio time. Depending on how the producers know you, they would maybe sometimes not charge you for a song, but I would say it's not expensive. Anything close to $100 or below, you can do a song in Rwanda.
Okay. I don't know, that sounds a little bit expensive. But I guess if you...
Compared to like America, I'm sure it's not that bad.
Studio time, transportation to studio, getting a producer, which is not very easy. You might get a mediocre producer or a good producer, depending on how you know the production and how many people you know in the music industry.
So there's been some campaigns recently by RDB. They're trying to really push people to start copywriting their intellectual property.
Yes.
Is that something that is, you know, a big issue here in Rwanda yet?
Yes, I would say I'm big. I learned from that already.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes.
There was some drama, I think.
Yeah, there was some drama, but it's now over.
Back then, yeah.
We covered it up. But I'm saying if we could maybe try to tell every artist to try and copyright their song. If you compose your song and you bring it out, it's your intellectual property, it's your property. So you have to really protect it. But you know, it depends on how you can, what you can do to get that song to be protected. You need a lawyer. You need to know maybe every step to take. You need to go to RDB and know. And very few artists in Rwanda really tend to take time to learn and address things like that, so they need to be sensitized about that issue as well.
Now, what do you think about the future of the music industry? Because the reason I bring that up is because yesterday in Hot Topics, we spoke about the recent artist from Tanzania, Diamond, who came and basically kind of mentioned that he thinks that Rwandan artists don't really know what they're doing, which I'm sure you probably disagree. Do you think that you guys have, you know, gone far from where, let's say, 5 years ago?
Yeah, very, very much. I would say, depending on maybe even how much we made 5 years ago, it's very different right now. But where I disagree with him is Rwanda is a country which has tradition. I mean, if you have to be successful in Rwanda, you have to sing in Kinyarwanda. If you have to be successful in Africa or East Africa, you have to sing in another language, which is not Kinyarwanda. Yes. And the artists that we have right now who can speak any other language apart from Kinyarwanda, very few. Yeah, so, and you know, as they say, charity begins at home. So you have to first conquer your hometown or home or where you're grown, and then maybe you can be successful outside. Right now it's going to happen. We've seen some collabos of Urban Boys and Dianya. We've seen some collabos of us and Tonics and many other people. But it is a gradual process. Every music industry has to grow. You have to have success first at home, then you make some money, and then you go outside and explore what's there.
So you know, that being said, you know, in the beginning of the video, Tom Close was saying, you know, I think that Rwanda can be the biggest music industry in East Africa and in Africa. Do you think that, you know, we can be the next, you know, I don't know, Tanzania, or because Uganda was really big at one point, then it was Tanzania got really big, and Kenya?
I think it is really, really difficult, in Rwanda. Yeah. First of all, put even music on the side. Let's even talk about other entertainment things. Let's talk about football. Let's see how many companies are putting money in football. And maybe let's see what kind of musician can attract a company to give him maybe some money to go do a video with Clarence Peters, which is above $6,000 US. It is very, very difficult. Diamond right now can do 10 videos in 1 year with a production company like Godfather, which charges 20,000 or even more. So it is very difficult. I think if we get management which can give us that money, if we can get gigs which can give us that money in a certain period of time, we can be successful. But it's very, very hard in Rwanda because of the language barrier, because of which companies can give us the money, because of the culture of our country, because we have to first be successful here with our population, which is 11 million. Yeah, so many variables hinder our progress. But I mean, who knows? You never know. You never know. Yeah.
Good insight. Good
absolutely.
insight.
Well, you know what? I wish you guys the best of luck, and like you say, I think that it's just gonna keep growing every year.
Yeah.
And looking for the next mega hit, the next summer crazy smash.
It's coming. It's coming.
Good luck, and thank you for coming.
Thanks so much,
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
All right, stay tuned. Hot Topics is coming right up. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, you can join in on the debates through our social media, whether it's on Facebook or on Twitter. Let's get into our first hot topic, guys. So, actually, it's more of a sports story. Arnold, so Ferwafa is actually going to be building a hotel for them to help, I guess, with their debt issues that they're having. Basically, this hotel would not only, I guess it's where the players who are visiting will be able to stay, but as well it's going to bring in income for Ferwafa.
Yeah, I think it's good for Ferwafa. As you saw earlier in the show, Ferwafa have a lot of debts. The hotel costs going to cost about $500,000, which is about
by FIFA.
Yeah, by FIFA under the Goal project, which is about 343 million. So Ferwafa has been spending a lot of money for visiting teams when they come down here to stay in hotels. So rather this time they'll be staying in a Ferwafa hotel, which is good for Ferwafa. To be an income-generating venture for the Football Association.
And actually, one thing I read was that the director was saying that they want to finish all their debt by the end of this year.
Yeah, they want to finish all their debts by the end of this year, which is a total of about 134+ million remaining.
Yeah. I feel like it's a great venture for them. I mean, not only are they taking ownership of their debts and trying to find solutions for their own problem, but I mean, this hotel can also be used not only for players, but also for other people. So this is great. I personally love this idea. What you guys think?
No, I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
I think it's a great story. All right, let's go to our next hot topic. Now, this one is for all the motorists out there. And I mean, a lot of people are panicking because the government is starting the emissions testing. Basically, any car that emits pollution into the air will be taken off the streets. Now, for you motorists who have cars that, you know, pollute the air, I'd be scared. But I think it's great because, you know, sometimes you drive up Péage and you've just got these smoky cars that just fill up the air, and it's really irritating.
I love that initiative. They should do it even more, stress it, push it all the way. I'm so for it.
I'm
Honestly,
sure there's so many people out there that are
ridiculous.
like, you guys.
I mean, look at these vehicles.
It's become a very
so
industrial city, and it was about time.
You know, apart from what it's doing to our environment, what is it doing to us? I mean, imagine you're behind a car like this and you're breathing all these fumes. It's terrible.
Sometimes you're in a moto and you're like kind of like pushing the guy, telling him to go a bit faster so you can pass the car.
It's crazy.
But you have people on the side who feel they've not been warned enough. And, you know, stopping some of these, especially when it comes to the taxis and the likes, it's going to bring about unemployment.
And what do you do with your car after
that?
You can't sell it. I think, but see, we're going to follow up in the next few days. But one thing I didn't really hear was whether it's going to affect the whole country immediately or it's just Kigali.
It's supposed to take effect January 1st.
Right, but is it the whole country immediately? Because
yeah, it's supposed to be the whole country because it's under the Rwanda Environment Management Authority, which is REMA, under their new guidelines, which they're going to put in place with the Ministry of Disaster Management and Natural Resources.
We'll have more on it on the show in the coming days, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, on to the last hot topic. Now, this is about something that happened in Kenya. Recently, a student basically was arrested because he went on Facebook and insulted the president, Jomo Kenyatta. And basically, Uhuru Kenyatta, sorry, that's his father. So Uhuru Kenyatta was arrested, and sorry, now you got me confused. Sorry, the student was arrested. His name is Alan Wadi Okengo, and basically because he decided to go on Facebook and basically write some hatred on it.
My question is, how insulting must it have been to be arrested for Facebook?
Let's just say all the news articles can't even print what he wrote. But a lot of it has to do with basically like creating division between the tribes, and also as well insulting the president.
Ethical. It was on the ethics.
Okay. Yeah. But he's a teenager.
But, I mean, no, he's in university and he's not young. But at the same time, there's a lot of mixed feelings about it. Some people are saying, you know, he's not very smart. I was going to call him another word. He's not very smart for doing it on Facebook. He should have been anonymous. And then others are saying, you know, it's freedom of speech. He could say what he wants.
Well, and I'm not in a position to analyze what's going on in Kenya. Arnold will have a better point of view. But it's a country known for ethnic divisions. It's happened in the past. Do you want to wake that up? I don't know.
I think it was really wrong. You know, we just look at our history when you bring about ethnic tension. It's not a line you must draw. So he needs to put, it's high time someone in Kenya stepped up and brought the tribal issue to a halt, because it's becoming too much for the Kenyan community. Everything is the party lines are being divided alongside tribal lines. Ministerial posts are given according to tribal lines. So they need to get a sense of unity and bring all this.
And I feel like for a country like Kenya, which is a bit open-minded and they actually have a lot of freedom of speech going on, it must be something really insulting, and it's something really bad for him to be in prison for. So I feel like they actually made the right move here. And
2 years though?
But I'm also asking myself, is this the whole story, or is there something else? Does he have prior offenses maybe? Or?
Maybe, but the article basically says that it was the messages he put on Facebook that got him arrested.
Something tells me we don't have all the info we need to have to be able to judge this, but at the same time, certain things you say and certain things you don't say, especially on public forums. If you want to do it, be anonymous.
You pay the price for dumb comments.
Exactly. I mean, what are you going to do?
All right. Thank you very much, Alan. Don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at RiseandShineRW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and the reports we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We'd love to see your pics. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We love to hear your feedback, so please do let us know if you have any ideas for the program. You have been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Makeda Mahario.
And me, Regis Isheja, will be here same time, same place tomorrow. Do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine Rwanda team, have a very good day. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.